But one person that I think will have a hand in shaping the Republican Party after Donald Trump, or even the last term of Donald Trump, is Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas. Now, when I think of Arkansas, I think of my Gamecocks joining the SEC. At the same time, the Arkansas Razorbacks joined the SEC, and we've been SEC brethren ever since. And I think Senator Cotton is with us now. Senator Cotton, good morning. How are you?
Hey, Ken. Good morning. It's good to be on with you.
Absolutely splendid to have you with us. We reached out to you because I wanted to hear your opinion of the Republican Party, and I do want to get there. But before we do that, obviously news broke Friday of Judge Ginsburg's passing. I've got one piece of advice for you and the other senators, and that is to nominate and confirm. What say you?
Oh, Ken, we will take that advice to heart. As I said on Fox News Sunday yesterday, the American people voted in 2018 not just to return the Senate majority to Republicans, but to expand it. A month after we had voted to make Brett Kavanaugh a Supreme Court justice, 4 Democrats voted against Brett Kavanaugh that lost their reelection. The only one who voted for him, Joe Manchin, won reelection. So we could not have a clearer mandate. The president has said he's going to submit his nominee this week. I expect it'll be an outstanding nominee, and we will move forward without delay to confirm that nominee. That's what the American people expected us. And your senator, Lindsey Graham, is going to play a huge role in it. And you can already see the left losing their mind over the constitutional working out of this process. Lindsey had protesters outside of his home banging on drums and using bullhorns all night. And I expect it's only going to get worse as these left-wing mobs continue to riot in the streets.
Very well explained. I want to shift gears and go to another issue because this will play itself out in front of the American public. Senator, we on this radio show, we felt we had a pretty good idea of Donald Trump coming on the scene. I suspected when I ran for statewide office here in South Carolina that there was a degree of populism that was percolating within the Republican ranks. I have had a lot of people ask me, what happens when Trump leaves town? What happens whether it's 3 months from now or 4 years from now? Who are the personalities that we need to pay close attention to? And I've got you high on that list. I think you are one of the influential members of the Republican Party that will help shape the next decade or two. As Trump is our president and running for re-election, what is your perspective of the intertwinement of conservatism and nationalism and anti-global and popular, all these other things that he some way, somehow has managed to consolidate? Is it good for the party, different for the party, bad for the party? And how do you digest all that as someone who I consider to be a leader of the party?
Sure, Ken. Well, first off, I think Donald Trump is going to leave office in a little over 4 years from now. And I'm going to do everything I can over the next 43 days to make sure that he gets reelected. And one of the reasons he got elected in the first place, Ken, while he beat all those Republicans in 2016 and while he beat Hillary Clinton, is that he did recognize that there was a real disconnect between the elites in both parties and the American voters, but especially Republican voters. I saw this, Ken, early on in my time in the House, just 2 years, when I led the fight against a mass amnesty and immigration expansion bill in 2013. The American people don't want to have amnesty. They don't want massive numbers of increases in immigration, yet that's exactly what a lot of Republicans in Washington had voted for. On that issue, there was no greater disconnect between Republican voters and Republican leaders. Likewise on trade, for a long time, the Republican Party had been kind of reflexively and instinctively in favor of anything that was called a free trade deal without actually examining the details of such a deal and examining whether it helped workers and communities, not just investors and owners. Donald Trump has turned that around, and you see the consequence or the results of that. We just got, again, last week, the results or the 2019 income numbers. We had staggering increases in average household income again. And income inequality has decreased over the first 3 years of the Trump administration, specifically because we've done things like get better trade deals, not just for owners and investors, but for workers and for communities. And we've stopped the flow of unskilled and low-skilled immigration to this country, where we have more and more immigrants competing for American jobs. So it's just what happens, Ken, whenever you stop importing more workers to take our jobs, and you stop outsourcing our jobs to foreign countries, of course that's going to benefit our workers and our families. And that was a direction that I thought the Republican Party needed to move, and that Donald Trump saw, and that too few other Republicans saw. That's one reason why he was reelected. I hope that's a lesson that Republicans won't lose or won't forget in 4 years when Donald Trump leaves the White House.
Senator Cotton, last question. Once again, appreciate your time this morning. I couldn't agree more with the way you encapsulated what the agenda, what the priorities, what the platform needs to be. But we do have these demographic challenges. How do we make this party, this idea, this set of ideas more appealing or attractive to minorities who historically have not supported Republican candidates?
Yeah, Ken, I think you see some of this right now in the president's polling numbers, where he's doing better with African-American voters and Hispanic voters, in part because they are actually seeing even more economic gains than other voters. They are seeing wages rise in the African-American community among Hispanic workers faster even than in other communities. Of course, that's logical. I mean, like I see this in Arkansas. You know, the people who want an immigration system that works for working Americans, that honors hard work, that honors people who played by the rules, are most often the first-generation immigrants who did play by the rules, who know that if you have illegal immigration or if you have large increases in the number of legal immigration, those people aren't going to come in and take the jobs of bankers or take the job of corporate executives. They're going to take the jobs of the guys that are working on roofs, laying foundations, repairing vehicles, working in factories. So I think a kind of a broad-based working-class agenda is the best way that we appeal to voters of all races, in all regions, of all backgrounds, because in the end, most Americans want to be able to get ahead in life, to provide a better education and more opportunities for their kids, to live in a safe community. That's true across the board. That's how we campaign. We're not the Democratic Party that goes in for identity politics and tries to say the most important thing about you is the color of your skin or how you were born. It is you as an individual being able to chart your own path in life and be able to make your own world, having a government that creates the conditions for that kind of success.
Senator Cotton, we appreciate your time. I've got a sneaky suspicion that one of these days you're going to start plundering around first in the South, primary state, South Carolina, and we want you to remember. We want you to remember this preliminary invite once you make your way over our way.
Well, remember, Ken, I spent my first and very fond 10 weeks in the Army there at Fort Jackson. So I have a soft spot in my heart for South Carolina. Believe it or not, basic training was a good memory for me.
Fair enough. Thank you, Senator Cotton. Appreciate your time.
All right. Take care.
Absolutely. And that, you know, guys, when you ask me what's next, I think you just heard one of the central figures. I'm not saying he's the guy to follow Trump. I'm certainly not arguing nor insinuating that. He's a Harvard graduate. He served in the armed forces. I mean, remember Buttigieg was kind of that guy on the other side, very liberal in his philosophies, but there's certain things that make a candidate attractive and appealing. And I think he's been, a fearless advocate for the president. I mean, he really has gone to bat for President Trump's agenda, and I'll give him a little credit. He's not Johnny-come-lately to this. I mean, he's not one of these guys who warmed up and realized the party has changed. I heard some things he said in 15, even 14, that made me believe he's a little bit ahead of the curve when it comes to re-identifying the Republican Party.